morning. Today I'm going to try and harvest whatever is ready in the garden because I'm not gonna have this thing stealing all of my harvest again. Plus, with a lot of plants, the more you harvest, the more they produce, and the less you harvest, the more they start thinking that they're done for the season. So I have 4 baskets here. Is that a little bit too optimistic? Probably, but I'm hoping that I can fill all of them. And I'm starting off with jamaica. This also goes by the name sorrel. And look at these calyxes. They're massive, they're huge, they're super plump and ready to be harvested. This plant for me started producing super early, and I think the reason for that is the shade cloth. It made it seem like the days were a little bit shorter, everything was shadier, and these plants started producing weeks ahead of plants that I have in the front yard. And they had a huge growth spurt after the shade cloth went up as well. But one thing that I should have done at the very beginning of the season is added some sort of stake and train them up, because these grow really large, but I feel like they don't have a whole lot of support, so they constantly flop over. And I don't really like them sprawling all over the floor, because then it's harder to harvest all the calyxes. I'm almost certain I'll be able to fill up like 2 baskets of pure jamaica. And I'm only taking the really big ones so that the other ones can get just as plump. One of the things that I do try, I mean, it hasn't rained here in a while, but one of the things that I try to do is harvest them before the rain, because I found that if the calyxes are almost done like this one and then it rains and water gets in there, usually there will be a little bit of mold, especially if the bloom is still in there. So I like to harvest them before the rain. Just look how gorgeous and perfectly formed they are. And the clusters are insane. Something else that I wanted to mention is that all the leaves on this plant are edible as well. And usually the stems are so fibrous that they're also used to make things, but I just don't know how to do that. A lot of these I feel could still use a few more days to get bigger than they already are. Some of them are also missing pieces because my babies love to come over and snack on them. Who was snacking on that one?
Yeah, just a little bit more little pieces. So we can't eat them. Eat the little pieces that I wet. Whoa, you got a lot.
I did put a lot.
A lot of these. So we need 3.
Some of the branches have also started going into my mulberry tree. I see a couple more in the back, but I feel like those could still use a few more days. Okay, I think we got those for now. And that just about filled up one basket. But wait, because there's more. A lot more. I think I might need to go grab another basket actually. I'm bringing over a second basket. Just so I'm not dropping any when I'm going inside. This right here is 2 plants in one 25-gallon container. And the reason I planted 2 is because last year I didn't have very much success at all growing jamaica. And the reason for that is because I kept direct sowing seeds, but the rats kept eating them over and over again. And whatever they wouldn't eat, the birds would. So the seedlings would start popping up and the birds would swoop in and snap them off. And oftentimes the birds would also go through and dig up a lot of the seeds. So I wound up with almost no harvest at all. And by the time I finally got some plants to start growing, the weather got too cold for them and they basically just dried on the plants. But the calyxes never got that big. And this year I started a bunch of transplants and I kept popping in backup after backup just in case, and it worked.
Very, very big harvest basket. This is a window. For me.
Ow, ow. Oh my God. I feel like I'm not making a dent in these. And the second basket's starting to get full, which is a really good problem to have. If you've never grown sorrel, jamaica, roselle, which is what this plant goes by, and depending on where you live, one thing that I've learned is that it likes a really long, warm growing season. But here in the low desert, it gets so hot that during the hottest parts of the year, it was still struggling for me. And then as soon as it started cooling down a little bit, it started perking up, drooping a little bit less. And then once I put the shade cloth, it just exploded with tons of growth. It did. But it does need a long growing season to be able to give you a really nice production. And you can prune it to keep its shape nicer. I just wanted to get as many calyxes as I could for the first harvest. And usually after that, I start pruning it back just a little bit to try and encourage more growth. And then also to try and keep the shape under control, because right now it doesn't really have one. It's just kind of flopping everywhere. So I have to hold it up. Oh, you know what? I've also gotten a lot of questions about the seeds for these. I don't sell seeds myself because I don't have a P.O. box right now. And it's just for privacy reasons. Like I wouldn't want to put my address out there. But I do have the seeds linked because I bought the seeds for these plants on Amazon. I know I have those linked, and then that's where all of these came from. And after that, I just started saving seeds from those harvests. You can easily find the seeds on Amazon. There might be a few other places that sell them, but that's where I bought mine. So here's the 2 baskets right now of fresh jamaica. Dun, 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 dun. I also wanted to show you this because this is another Roselle plant. And look how tall it's gotten. It's huge. But again, it needs support, otherwise it starts flopping over. And this one is barely starting to produce. So that's a good thing about planting so many in different parts of the yard. These plants are sensitive to like the day changes, and that's how they start their production. So these are barely starting to form calyxes. Meanwhile, the other ones have already been producing for weeks. And I love it. I love how gorgeous this plant is. And then this is not part of the harvest, but if you'll look on the poles next to it, I have my coral vine. That is exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to like wrap it all up the poles to make it look a lot more dainty and whimsical, and I think it totally worked. I love the way it looks. And we have pink blooms starting to form. As the vines get more mature, hopefully we'll have pink blooms cascading everywhere. But like, there's another closer look at those. And then right here. Something I'm growing for the first time this year are these red noodle beans. Some of them have actually dried. So I'm just gonna keep replanting these. But ever since I started gardening, I've been trying to grow these and I've never been successful. And for the first time, my plants are actually producing. I tried to do the Three Sisters method in this bed. So I have things like noodle beans, pumpkins, and corn, but I didn't plant things properly. I planted everything at once. So the beans started growing like crazy, the pumpkins started growing like crazy, and the corn stayed really small because it didn't get as much sunlight as everything else. But yes, I'm harvesting these now, even though most of them are dried, so that the vines can keep producing, and then I'll stay on top of the next round of production a lot better. But I've heard that these are really good in stir fries. The only thing I wonder is whether they change color or not. And I see a lot more blooms forming, so hopefully we'll get more. And there's also some all the way up here. Oh, I also see some snake beans starting to form. Oh yeah. Look, these are the rattlesnake beans. And these are the delicate bean blooms. I'm also gonna grab some of this okra. This plant was doing so bad previously because it was flopping over. And so I pruned it, left a couple leaves, and then it recovered very nicely. Now it's growing straight up instead of drooping off to the side. Yeah, this plant is doing really good. I feel like it's picking up in production a lot. I need to be coming out here every single day, which I haven't been doing because previously it didn't produce anything all summer long. But it's looking really beautiful now, and it still gets a good amount of sun. I love okra. This year has not been the best year of okra for me because I only have like 2 plants in the whole garden, and I always forget to go harvest them, so by the time I get to them, they're really big and woody. But next year I'm gonna try and do better. All of this right here is eggplant. Lots and lots of eggplant. I wanted to show you this one. Look how massive this one is. Oh my God.
Put it in here.
This thing is beautiful.
Put it in here.
Okay. And I also spot a few Casper eggplants. This one also looks really nice, but I want it to get bigger still. Here's another one. And I think that might be it. The plant is barely, oh no. I'm gonna take this one. But look at that. Oh, what is that? I wonder what happened to this one. Next up are Armenian cucumbers. And I feel like these vines are gonna have to come down soon because I'm starting to see a lot more pest pressure. But it's still got quite a bit of fruit on it. I wonder if I got something in my eye. Oh, ew, some of them are even starting to get squishy. No. That should not be happening. Not all of them, just some of them are. I wonder what's happening. They're starting to wrinkle up. Maybe they want more water or something? I'm not sure. I might try to increase the water a little bit more to see if that helps. And there's still a lot of baby ones that are forming, but oh my God, look at this. Ew. I also have some zucchino rampicante, and some days are still pretty hot here, so there's a little bit of burning, but I'm harvesting these small because I can see them start to dry up, so I want to at least eat them before they shrivel up all the way. There's another one up here. I think I can reach though. Oh, yes I can.
Mommy, I don't think I can reach my harvest basket.
Got another one. I think that's all of the squash that I'm gonna get for now. The other ones, I'm gonna wait to see if they get bigger. And then these are some of my tomatoes which are starting to produce, but none of them have ripened yet. Oh wait, there's one. There's only one, but still. Dun, dun, dun. I have these on some Titan tomato cages from Gardener Supply. I really like them. I think I prefer them in the garden beds instead of the containers because my containers are up against the wall, so it was hard for me to reach some areas. But the tomatoes themselves are going crazy, like absolutely insane. And I was really bummed out because I think I accidentally deleted the footage of planting the tomatoes in here. But at least we're getting something, so that makes me really happy. This was the final harvest for today. And there's still a lot of different herbs and things like that that I could harvest, but I'm gonna hold off. Also peppers. I have a ton of peppers, but I'm waiting because I know I can always string those. This, I felt like I just needed to get inside now. So, not bad.